Hey guys, Lynn Burke here, owner of Blue City Music in Memphis, Tennessee. Thanks for stopping by. We really appreciate it. Today's Guitar Amplification 101 class is going to talk about the Soldano Custom Amplification Hot Rod Avenger 50. Now the Hot Rod series and the Avenger and the straight Avenger, there are some differences we're going to talk about. But if you hear Hot Rod 50 or Hot Rod 100 Avenger, that means there is an effects loop built in. If you hear Avenger 50 or Avenger 100, then that means it's the same amp, you just don't have an effects loop. That's the only differences. So once again, Hot Rod 50 or 100 Avenger, effects loop. Avenger 50 or a 100, no effects loop. So let's talk about this amp right here. It's 50 watts. It's overdrive channel only off the SLO. Some guys don't care to have a crunch or a clean channel. They just want the overdrive. That's why Mike came up with this. It's a single channel amp. It's going to have the standard Marshall tone stack, bass, mid, treble. There's going to be a presence. But unlike some of the other amps that Mike has, like the SLO, this one already has a built-in depth option for those guys that may be looking for a lower bottom end, maybe a 7 or 8 string player, that kind of thing. So we're going to talk about this amp in detail in controls and indications. So stand by. Let's do that now. Guys, here's the front chassis of the Soldano Hot Rod 50 Avenger. So let's break this amp down. Okay, first thing you're going to do is you're going to look up here and you're going to see that it is a 4 preamp tubes. Okay, guys? 4 preamp tubes. Those are going to be of the 12AX7 variety. And you're going to have 2 Softec 5881 6L6 WGCs in the back for your output tubes, okay? Now let's start on the front here. 2 inputs, high and a low input. What's the difference between the two? Well, if you use the low input, the way Mike has this set up, it's going to bypass this first stage of gain, and it's going to allow you to really push the master volume a whole lot higher over here, increasing headroom for a specific pre-gain setting. So if you want a really good Marshall-y crunch style channel, you need to run the low side for the input. If you want a little bit more overdriven tones, just like the SLO, then plug into the high side. But it's going to re-energize that preamp tube over here in V1. You cannot bridge these two together, so I know what you're thinking. Guys have tried it, and it just wasn't real successful. A little bit noisy, and Mike decided, no, I'm not going to do it because it's just a little too noisy and it's just not working for us. So you need to choose your poison, low or high, however you want to do that. Standard, EQ, bass, mid, treble, with a presence control. You've got a pre-gain setting to put in as much grit as you want into the amp, and you've got your master over here. Finally, you've got a depth option on this side. So as soon as you get your standard EQ set up, your bite, your attack set up on your presence, if you need to add a little bit more bottom end below the frequencies of the bass, then you can run the depth up. But anything past about 6 or 7 on the dial or 1 o'clock, it's just going to be too much, guys. It's not going to do much for you. Continuing over here, standard on-off your standby switch, and the same thing for your power switch and your jewel light. This is the front of the Soldano Hot Rod 50 Avenger. Guys, this is the rear chassis of the Soldano Hot Rod 50 Avenger. Let's start over here on the left side. You've got a standard IEC removable power cord, 117 volts AC, 60 hertz. It's a 50 watt amp. It's got 5 amp fuse here and a 1 amp fuse here. Now it says down here, do not use slow blow. That means you want to use fast acting fuses, just like what you get at Radio Shack or anywhere else that you buy your electronics. 250 volt AGC fast acting fuses, a 5 amp and a 1 amp. You've got 2 speaker jacks, and depending on how you configure your cabinets, you can go between 4, 8, and 16 on your ohms. Guys, just get it close. Just get it close, okay? We're not splitting hairs here. This is a Soldano. We can handle it. Just get it close. Over here, we've got an effects loop, send and return. And again, this is what delineates this amp into becoming the Hot Rod 50 Avenger or the Hot Rod 100 Avenger, okay? Is that there is an installed effects loop. And again, if it is an Avenger 50 or Avenger 100, these are going to be plugged over here. You're not going to have an effects loop, and it's going to be a little bit cheaper. So this is the rear chassis of the Soldano Hot Rod 50 Avenger. Soldano Hot Rod 50 Avenger. Give us a call at 901-485-8250. Catch us on the web, www.bluecitymusic.com, Facebook, or Twitter, Blue City Music, or you can text me at 901-485-8250. I may be international, and if I am, I'll give you a message back, or I'll call you, and it's going to be a Skype call, 661 Palmdale, California area code. But you're going to get a call back, and we'll take care of your tone needs. Thanks for coming by Blue City Music and our Guitar Amplification 101 series, the Soldano Hot Rod 50 Avenger.